Welcome. I'm Lasso, here streaming live from my trailer here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I am Oklahoma's India tour. This month we're working on the haunted house, and it's been going. There's been some ups and downs. There's been some arguments. There's been some good moments, some bad moments. You know what happens. It's you're not gonna get it perfect every single time, but it's exciting. There's a lot to improve on. I'm gonna convince Gene. He's the visionary. He's the boss man. I take orders from him. But I'm gonna bring it up to him. Last year we had a part of the haunted house where people got inside a trailer, and we moved him around from place to place. And I think we need to bring it back because it's missing that, you know. And we had a guy who comes in and does the what do you call it, the review on haunted houses. He came last night. Fortunate for us, he's not going to put his review out. He's going to come by again some other time because we were a little under prepped, I think, if we're going to be honest. And in all fairness, though, we only had about a week to get this together. The airsoft place is a huge warehouse, and it's our first year trying to figure that out. And we're doing a good job, I think, considering we're figuring out all the ins and outs of the haunted house. But bringing back the trailer, I think, is a must. We're gonna have to bring it back. Even the guy who did the review said he missed the trailer part. So I think I'm gonna convince Gene to make that part of the haunted house again, even though in his mind it may not make sense. We can make it work, okay? If we want something bad enough, we can make it work. It's that simple, you know. And I already know how we can do it. There's an exit door right before where the haunted house begins and where the maze ends. Easy. We let people through that way. We put them in the trailer. We go around a bit. We scare them. Go back to the same place and let them back in, and they're right there in front of the haunted house. You know what I'm saying? Not a big deal. Make it part of the theme where you have to get in the trailer to get to the haunted house. You know, it's doable. I think it's doable. What was the other aspect that made it entertaining? But I think it's a good idea. It's a good idea to add the trailer part to it and scare people that way because it's unique. I don't think any other haunted house had that, and so we need to bring it back for sure. Because I was disappointed when he said we weren't doing that. I was like, "Are you kidding me? We're not doing the trailer thing? That was like our jam. That was our thing that people loved. Absolutely loved doing that." So yeah, we need to bring it back. I'm gonna twist Gene's arm until he says, "Okay, we'll do it." Even if we have to use my own truck, I would gladly use my own truck. I would gladly use the gas for it. I don't mind. I would love to do it, you know. And I have time because if we're doing the trailer, I can drive the trailer around and do that, and when I park it, I can run to my place. It's not a big deal. I can totally manage it. Plus, it'll add time to the haunted house. That was one of the biggest complaints from the guy who reviewed our haunted house. He said it only took 30 minutes to get through the whole thing. And you know, I think 30 minutes is fine. But if he wants to make it longer, we can make it a bit longer. That's fine. If we add the trailer to it, we'll probably add another 15 minutes to the whole thing. You know. What other aspect was there? Oh, yeah, we were having trouble with sound systems and stuff. It's all weak sauce. Sound and music, it creates the atmosphere, right? And we're just lacking in that area, man. And I don't know, it's just that warehouse, it's massive, and you pump the music loud, and it's just like, it gets like soaked into all the wood and all the people, like just not doing a very good job. So I actually have a PA system. I think I'm gonna bust it out and bring it out. I'm gonna bring out my PA system, hook it in there, and we're gonna blast the freaking music because you need music. You gotta have music, especially look. You have music when we have okay. There's a first section where you go in, you get these little airsoft guns, and you gotta have music. You gotta have like guns going off. You gotta have stuff going off. You know what I'm saying, to add to the atmosphere, to add to the excitement. I think one thing that was a big problem was they were using these like gel balls that don't hurt when they hit you. I mean, listen, I guess we can use those, but the problem is like they're water based, and if they get too much water, those little gels actually expand and they clog the chamber, and you can't use the guns. So that was our biggest problem last night. The guns, the airsoft guns, jammed, and nobody can use them. It was completely. They make noises, but it was boring. It was dull. It was a big letdown. They should have just used the actual plastic little ball that they shoot. It doesn't hurt that bad. And if honestly, if you're going to be one of the monsters that people are shooting at, you should be wearing some kind of protective gear anyways. So we got to look into that. I would much rather we use the actual little plastic balls that they shoot instead of the gels, because the gels, it gets too complicated. Okay, it gets too complicated. You gotta have somebody on top of that, and it's use the plastic balls, forget about the soft gels, have the people who are monsters actually wear protective gear, you know what I'm saying, go full out with the gear, and that problem is solved. Okay, I think it's just making things way too complicated using the gels, and you gotta have it the right temperature, the right humidity, the right amount of water. It's too complicated, okay? And they don't want to use Nerf guns. I said we can use Nerf guns, but they're like, no, but then we have to go through and clean up all the little, find all the things. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Maybe we don't have time to clean up. And then somebody said, well, as a backup, we should have foam swords. But honestly, the foam swords isn't as fun as the airsoft guns. You know what I'm saying? It's not as fun. So, yeah, I think the monsters should just wear protective gear. You know, plastic shielding for the face. They sell those. You know, they were selling those whenever COVID was happening, so easy. Face shield, easy. Some kind of ear protection, because if you get hit in the ears, man, that's going to be so painful. You know, just layers of clothing. You don't even need that much padding. And if you do have padding, like, find foam and just stick it in your shirt. I mean, it's not that difficult to figure these things out. I would much rather work on the padding and that stuff versus messing with the soft gels that are so finicky that it's gonna jam up the gun. So that was a bad review we got. But like I said, the guy's being very nice. He's gonna give us more time to get things in order. So my thing is, I'm gonna push for the plastic little balls, because the guns getting jammed, no, we can't have that. That's gonna ruin the whole thing. And then the trailer, definitely add the trailer to it. The guy who came to review it said he missed it, and so I think we need to add the trailer. Just point blank, we need to add the trailer. There's no question about it. We should just do it. You know, no questions asked. You know, you gotta give people what they want. And I was so disappointed when we weren't doing it. I was like, what? We're not doing the trailer? That's weird. The other aspect that I'm going to bust out my PA system. So I'm going to figure that out. I have a Bluetooth speaker I'm going to put in the circus room, so I'll be able to play some circus music. But yeah, we need noises. We need sound. It kills the vibe when there's no music and nothing like that going on. So we definitely need to work on that. And people tried. The people like Gene and other people, they were trying to make it work, but like I said, we're so limited in time. We only had a week to prep, and during that whole week, sometimes we couldn't even get in there till like 6 in the evening, or you know, sometimes we could at 9. But you know, Gene himself is doing other stuff too. He's like mowing lawns and stuff to make money. So you know, it was kind of left up to me to go in there early and work for like, I don't know, like 6 hours before anybody else showed up to work on the haunted house. So most of the time it was just me in the morning working on stuff. And I would get a lot done. We'll get a lot done to move things forward. You know, I think there's 4 main people working on it. So, but like I said, we didn't have like the whole day to work on it, because the airsoft company has also people coming in to play airsoft. And that was one thing that I was a little disappointed. So some of the people, I mean, they were told not to mess with our stuff. Like, do not mess with the Halloween stuff. And what do? They freaking mess with our stuff. So we had to go back in there and fix a few things, which was kind of aggravating a little bit, because we put in a lot of time into this and they don't respect it, so they damaged a lot of our stuff. So I was pissed. I was so pissed. I had to let it go, but man, I was pissed. They damaged so much of our stuff. Um, and stuff went missing. A light went missing, like a big spider went missing, so shit went missing. So I'm very aggravated with the people that go there and play airsoft. Like very mad and aggravated. I almost want to say if you damage any more of our shit, you're gonna have to pay for it out of your own pocket. Like I'm gonna go straight. I'm gonna find them. I'm gonna find out who was there. Look at a list. Look at whatever, and be like, dude, you owe us $100 for the damage you caused. Like that, we're not playing around. Like we told you not to mess with our stuff, and what do? You freaking mess with our stuff, dude. Like that's the thing. You have these like adults playing dress up. They're all overweight. And they go there to play. I mean, they're freaking childish. They're freaking immature children. They fucking mess our shit. I'm so pissed. I'm so pissed. I gotta let it go. But like I said, we went in there. Yesterday we only had an hour to work on the haunted house. 1 hour to work on it. That's all the time we had. So that not the best situation. But we make it work. We make it work. I got to give props to Gene because, like I say, we had not a lot of time, and he was able to pull in a lot of people, and that takes a lot of work. Everything we did took a lot of work. So at the end of the day, it's pretty amazing what we did. But we got to be critical. And the guy who reviewed us made a good point, you know. So I'm gonna take those points to heart. I'm gonna tell Gene we need the trailer back. We need to get the trailer up because people love that. It's different. It's different from all the other haunted houses. Nobody has a trailer where we lock people in there and take them for a ride. Like people loved that shit last year. So we got to get that. Like I said, I was disappointed when he said we weren't doing that. I was like, are you kidding me? That was like our biggest thing. So I'm gonna twist his arm until we get it done. What else? Yeah, the music. Yeah, we gotta work that. The fog thing. It was just, yeah. Power in that place is tough. It's a massive warehouse, and finding power is tough. But you know, we've located most of the outlets and stuff and whatnot. I mean, I'm not gonna complain. I mean, it's a beautiful setup. We got an awesome setup. We just gotta make the best of it, you know. So I'm not really complaining. I'm just being critical of how we can improve. I definitely want, at the beginning of the haunted house, I want there to be doors where people have to like open them and go in there. It's like spooky. And before the doors, I definitely want like some kind of animatronic to set the mood a little bit. I think that would be very cool. But that's probably not going to happen. But I don't know. It's a wish thing. What else? I was trying to think of ways to improve some of the rooms. There's one room in particular that I don't think is working. It's supposed to be like a scary nun, and she gives birth to a demon baby, but I think we should change that room into like a operation room, and we force people, we tie them down, because if they wear the glow stick bracelet, we can touch them. So if they're wearing the bracelet, we can put them down and tie them down for a minute and operate on them like if they were aliens were coming in to operate on them. You know, I think that'd be scary as heck. I think we should do that. In my opinion, that would change things up dramatically. You know, I'm gonna look at buying a like police light to put on the police car because it's pretty dark in that area and there's really no light. So I think that would be cool to have a little red light, just old school police light shining. You know, like going in circles. And then what else? Like some kind of radio receiver in the car itself, you know, like people shouting and stuff. I think that'd be cool. I gotta think about how to do that. What I may end up doing is just sticking a walkie-talkie in there in the car, the front car, and just like talk into it, you know, and just say, you know, like scream into it and stuff, and be like, oh my god, there's monsters everywhere, you know, whatever, just something like that. These are just ways to improve it. Cause yeah, we had a guy come out who reviewed it, and he gave us a bad review. He gave us a really, but like I said, he isn't gonna post it, or he's gonna take it down or whatever. Give us another chance some other time. So it was very disappointing that we got a bad review. I got personally I got a good review from people, but the guy who rates the haunted houses here gave us a pretty bad review. He said, this is what he said. He said it's not worth your time. Don't go there. He said it's like there was a bunch of kids, which is true. We had that night specifically. We had high schoolers come volunteer. There was a program exchange. They got volunteer hours, this and that. But yeah, it made the whole thing less professional, I would say, because people were on their phones. They weren't ready. They didn't really know how to scare people. So they were there to have fun. Let's just be honest. They were there to have their own fun. They weren't very good at scaring people, and they were just kind of doing whatever they wanted. So that kind of ruined the night. I'm just gonna be straight up. It kind of ruined the night. There was a few people that were doing it right, in my opinion. They were actually taking our orders of how to do it better and this and that. But in general, they were just there to have their own fun. They were there to have their own fun, and they can rack up volunteer hours. It's not. I don't know. I think it didn't serve us well, to be honest. But I'm not saying they shouldn't do it. I think we should just be more clear about what's expected from them. And that's all. We just got to be a little bit more clear in our instructions and tell them, hey, this is expected. Don't be on your phones. Don't be chit chatting, and be ready. Be ready in place. That's all we ask. And change. After last night, I was okay. Some of these people don't know how to actually scare people. They're just yelling at them, and that's not how you scare people. You just, what I'm saying. You have to you gotta be quick. You gotta spook them. You gotta catch them off guard. Essentially, you gotta come out of the darkness and scare them and whatnot. You can't just pop out and yell at them and have conversations with them and then tell them where to go. That's not gonna scare them. So we had a lot of kids last night, and that's what the guy said. The guy who was reviewing us said, this is a great place for kids, but as for adults, stay away from this place. That's what he said. I was like, damn, because we put in a lot of work, and my section was scary. I made sure it was scary, and Gene was making sure his area was scary too. He does a good job of scaring people. But at the end of the day, it's true what they say. You're as strong as your weakest link, and so, like I said, the high school kids kind of made it weak sauce, because like I said, they were just there for their own behalf to have fun. They wanted to dress up, they wanted to have fun, and I get it. There's a fun aspect to it, but there's also a professional aspect to it. It's not all fun and games. You have to be a professional. You have to be focused. You have to be ready, and be ready when people come out. You got to be ready. A lot of them were caught off guard. They're like, oh, there's people here? Oh my god. You know what I'm saying? It was a bit of a shit show. But like I said, they're all just high schoolers. You can't expect them to be professionals. It's at this point, it's too much to ask. Can you just please do this, do that? It's at that point, they don't have the dedication, they don't have the focus. They're young, and they just want to have fun. They don't want to do actual hard work. Which, make no mistake, haunted house is fun, but you're doing a lot of hard work. And if you're not doing the hard work, then it's going to be lacking. It's going to be very lacking. So yeah, unfortunately we got a bad review, but fortunate for us, the guy's going to give us a second chance. So we can't fumble it up. Like I said, we gotta bring it for next week. At least this time we're gonna have, we got it to where it is. It's at a good spot. We just have to elevate to the next place. We have to elevate to a higher place, and being critical and thinking about it and reflecting on it is the only way to do that. So I think even taking the time to get the group together and be like, all right, what's your scare tactic? okay, that's not gonna work. You change it up, figure it out. Like ask ChatGPT to help you. Like be creative with your scare tactics. You know, don't just yell in their face and tell them to get out, get out. You know, like ah. I mean, I don't know. That's just my own personal opinion. You shouldn't just scream in their face. It's just more irritating than scary at that point. There was one girl she was brilliant. She hid underneath the car and would grab people's legs, and that's I think that's brilliant. So that's being a little creative there. What else? I mean that's it. I mean that's pretty much it. Just a few little aspects that need to be changed. The sound system. I'm bringing my PA. It's gonna fill that whole warehouse up. You know, if I can, I'll bring my projector because I would love to record something and screen it. You know, it could be anything. It could be fire. It could be, I don't know. It could be anything, just to change it up a little bit. You know, last year we used the projector as a way to show an introduction video, and that really set the tone of the whole thing. And right now we don't have anything to set the tone. No music. You know, there's no one really there to give instructions the way we did it last year. It was scary. We had Pigman tell you the 3 rules, and it was good. It was scary. And like I said, last year we had a few people go into the introduction room, and there was like a little. It's all dark, and you go through it, and it's like an experience, and that's like you get a feel for it before you go in the haunted house. And we had a few people go, this is not for me, this is too scary, we're not doing this. And they left, and we actually had a few little kids who were like, I'm not scared of anything. They go to the introduction room, they watch the video, the tone is set, they go through the first room, and they're crying, and they fucking leave. It was that terrifying. And we don't have anything like that. We don't have anything to set the tone. So right now it's just a lady with a flashlight saying, okay, go that way. And then what's funny is she's like, okay, they're coming. Like, that's so unprofessional. Like, you ruin the tone. You completely ruin the tone when you do that, you know. So I'm going to work on figuring out how to really set the tone for the haunted house. The maze is supposed to be a place where people go and you get lost and there's monsters running around scaring you. But it seems like it just wasn't working for some reason. People weren't getting scared. I don't understand. I mean, I'm going to check in with Gene and say what was going on with the maze, because it seems like nobody was scared in the maze. And that's kind of the whole point, is they're supposed to feel lost and confused and scared, like people scaring them and shit. But for some reason, I don't know. So we had the guns failed us. The maze wasn't scary. There was no tone to set the haunted house. We had no trailer, so of course we got a bad review. The space is bigger, sure, but we were missing all the things that made it special. You know, that's why I was irritated the whole time, because I was like, we're not doing the trailer, we're not doing the video. You know, like, what is the deal? So yeah, we're gonna work on that for sure. At least this week we have more time. This week we have more time to work on it. Now that we've brought it up to a certain level, now this week we're gonna work on it and bring it up to the next level. That's definitely what we're gonna do. So we're gonna be way more prepared. And I'm seriously considering doing the whole alien thing for one of the rooms and change it up, because the nun thing, I don't think it's working. And the actors and actress that are doing that thing with the nun and this and that, first of all, apparently we just found out that they can't see very well through the masks. So one of them actually ran into a child and like really hurt them pretty bad. So that's no bueno. We can't have people who can't see through the mask and don't know where they're going. That's like, what? How are you that irresponsible? Like, you have to be able to see what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, what? Like, how do you not? So I don't know. It's just weird how people don't think about these things, and they're just I don't know. It's kind of lazy in my opinion. It's just a lazy attitude. Like I said, when I'm there, I'm totally focused. I didn't miss a single person. I always got to my spot, and it didn't matter how long I had to wait. If I had to wait 10 minutes for somebody to show up, I waited 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? That's being a professional. You don't get on your phone. You don't chit chat. Oh, there's one kid who would not stop talking. He was just chit chattering up the whole time. I mean, okay, no big deal, but I was like, dude, like you realize you're talking really loud, people can hear you. Like you need to like get quiet, you know. And I was very nice about it. I wasn't like yelling at him or anything. I was just like, dude, you gotta stop talking. You can't be talking, and you know, you ruin the experience for other people. Like I said, these kids and high schoolers, they're there to have fun. They're not there to work, and that's the problem, you know. And once you say, hey, like we gotta work, and it's no fun no more, they leave. That's what happened. A lot of the kids, the high schoolers, once it stopped being fun, they left. They just straight up left, and I was like, see, there you go, there you go. There's the attitude of these high schoolers. They're just there to have fun. They're there to dress up. They want an excuse to dress up and have fun. But, you know, it's work. It's, at the end of the day, it's work. And you're there not for yourself. You're there to serve others. You're there to scare other people. You're there to entertain other people. You're there to bring joy to other people. And if you don't understand that, you're missing the whole point of the haunted house. Yeah, it's fun to be a part of it, and you're dressed up, and you're doing, when you're doing it right, and everything's working, it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling of fulfillment that you did your job right. You were a pro the whole time. You never missed a cue. But you know, not everybody is me, right? So, you know, it's just one of those things. You gotta have a high standard with these people, and if you're too relaxed, they're just gonna have fun. They're gonna fumble up. They're gonna miss cues. They're gonna miss people. They're gonna get caught with their masks not even put on. You know what I'm saying? And you know, you got people there smoking marijuana vapes, and it's like, dude, come on, like, grow up. Like, you don't need that, okay? I'm pretty sure you can get by at least one night without smoking your marijuana vape. It's just frustrating, because I think, you know, that's what's screwing them up. If you're too high to work and be focused, then, you know, you might as well just go home. Like, go home and smoke, you know, or just wait until you're done, and then when you're done with the haunted house, guess what? You can go home and smoke. Not a big deal. You know, if I can do the whole thing without smoking a single vape, without of any sort of nicotine or marijuana, I'm pretty sure you can do it too. You know, it's not impossible. But you know, it's a lot. I know, I get it. I'm a perfectionist. It's a lot to ask, but people got to step up. You know, my section of the haunted house got good reviews because I do what I do. I'm a professional. I'm focused. I'm not there lollygagging. You know, but the whole entire haunted house suffers if no one else has the same attitude. You know, if they're just there to lollygag and have fun, then the whole thing's gonna fall apart. You know, and what's also frustrating is we have ladies who are doing a great job. You know, they're at their checkpoints. We have these checkpoints that there's a checkpoint at the start of the maze. There's a checkpoint at the start of where you go shoot at zombies or whatever monsters. You know, there's a checkpoint. There's a checkpoint at the haunted house. That's great. They're doing a great job. But you have like actors telling them what to do, and it's pissing them off. Like you don't tell the people that are doing their jobs, the checkpoint people, how to do their jobs. Like you just leave them alone because they're doing a great job. A lot of them are frustrated because a lot of the actors are like telling them what to do, and they're just like, no, we know what our job is. You go do your job, and we'll do our job. So there's a bit of like frustration coming from the ladies that were doing checkpoints. But like I said, it's only been our second day, you know, and it's gonna be rough. But I think where it is now, we have a lot of room to improve and raise the bar. So that's good. All we have to do is actually do the necessary things to actually raise that bar, and we're going to be in good hands, you know. In general, though, a lot of the younger people that went through had a good time. You know, some adults had a good time if they played into it. But like I said, if we have nothing to set the tone, the adults will have a harder time getting into it. You know, so that's going to be the big thing is setting the tone, so it's not like it just feels like it's made for just for kids, and we don't want that necessarily. We want it to be for adults too. So we're definitely gonna have to raise the bar on that. I think the alien abduction thing is gonna be what's gonna really help with that with the adults. That's if we make that just right, it'll be terrifying to do the alien abduction. Because I think it'd be a good idea to do that. In fact, I know how to improve that whole entire area where it's lacking. The whole nun thing and the squeeze wall should all be about aliens. It should all be about aliens, and like there's an operating table, you know, and we strap you down. We could have multiple tables for multiple people. We strap them all down, and we work on them and have scary tools like right in their faces, like, you know what I'm saying, drills and stuff. We got to be careful. We might have to strap their heads down so they don't move, but that would be terrifying in my opinion, you know. And back in the day when we watched those alien movies, it was always terrifying to me when you were in a alien spaceship. You had these aliens that look like little kids, you know. They're creepy, you know, their big eyes. Well, actually they had small eyes, but they looked like they were all, you know, bald and kind of naked. So we just got to find those kinds of suits, you know, and just scare the bejesus out of them with freaky looking aliens with weird tools. They get strapped down. There's a squeeze wall that I think we need to utilize as part of the alien thing. You know, like them, they have to escape through the squeeze wall to get out of the alien ship, if you will. But I think that'd be cool to dress it up as a alien ship. I think that would be really cool and scary. That way there's kind of the squeeze wall is just a way to escape the alien ship. Now there's a reason to use, you know, there's a reason to use that squeeze wall now to escape the alien ship. And the thing is with the alien ship, you know, with the squeeze wall, it leads to a dead end, so they have to go through the other way. But that I think kills it. We need to figure out a way to get them through the squeeze wall and then get them back on track without having to turn around. But that seems like an impossible task the way it's set up right now. There's got to be a way to set it up so they actually go through the squeeze wall and end up somewhere else, and they have to go somewhere else. But the way it's set up, it's just, there's no way to make that work, you know. So either they move the squeeze wall down a bit so that there is a door that leads to the butcher room. So I think what they should do is do the alien thing and then have the squeeze wall moved up so there's a door they utilize to get into the butcher room, and they're back in the cycle of things. Otherwise, leading to the dead end, it doesn't work. It doesn't work, and then you have to make them go back through the squeeze wall. It doesn't work. You know, it doesn't work. Most people, when they got to the dead end, they would much rather push the fence that we built as a blockage than go through the squeeze wall. I'm telling you, that's what they did. They would much rather push the fence and break the wall barrier than go back through the squeeze wall. So I think that's the trick. I'm figuring these things out, you know. I'm thinking them through, and now I have a better idea of what to do and what to bring for next week. During the week, I think Wednesday is going to be our big day to work on it, so I'm going to work on it and tell Gene all my ideas, because I think they're necessary. They're definitely necessary to make things work. You know, I'm willing to go full out on this thing, as far as adding the trailer, adding maybe the alien abduction scenes. What else? Because that's the thing. If we have high schoolers and their kids and whatever, it's actually better if the aliens are small, right? So we can have these people, these smaller kids, uh, as little aliens, you know, and I think that will work out. I think that would make it less like, oh, there's kids in here, right? So I think that's good. Um, but we have this little demon baby. She's 6 years old, and she's dressed as a little red demon. It's freaking hilarious. She's awesome. She's freaking hilarious. She's awesome. She's just having a blast, you know, pretending to be a little demon baby. So that's pretty cool. And she's the one running around the maze. But like I said, to an adult, it's not that scary. You know, um, there is one clown in the maze, but you know, my thing is people, the actors, they're all just complaining. They're all just complaining, and I haven't complained once. I haven't complained at all. You know what I'm saying? I just do my job. I'm a professional. I make it work, you know, and I don't complain. I just figure it out and I make it work. I don't complain. I'm being critical. That's different. But I don't want, once we're there and doing our jobs, I don't complain once. And the thing is, people are always coming up to me to fix things. Some things get broken, like they don't know how to fix it. And I don't have anything to fix it with, but I figure it out. I don't complain. I don't not work it and fix it. I just figure it out and I fix it, you know, on the spot. But then, you know, again, not everybody can be like that, you know. And not everybody wants to be tough and find solutions. People just want to complain. They just want to complain and have it easy. That's the thing. The people that just show up in their costumes, they have it easy compared to me and Gene. We put in all the work to build it, and we act in it. You know what I'm saying? And Gene, on top of it, he keeps things in line. He keeps people in order. He's got meetings and stuff. So that's another thing he does that I don't do. But as far as putting the time to build it and getting costume and be ready on time, yeah, we're killing it. But it's hard to expect people to be at that level, but they need to be. They have to be at that level. I think the zombie room where they're shooting at the monsters or whatever, I kind of looked at them, and there was a moment where all the monsters do is just follow them, which I thought was weird. They're just following them, like they're blocking. I guess they need to do that in some sense, but they're essentially, by, I don't know how to say it, by walking up to them and just standing there, they're blocking the way so they don't turn around and go back the other way. They're just forcing them to go a certain direction. But people are confused. Like, they're just confused. Like, why are these monsters just standing here with us? Like, it's weird. They shouldn't be just standing there with them and just chilling out with them and having conversations with them. That's not how it should work. You know, they have to be running around, popping in and out, scaring them, you know. Maybe even like we need to figure something out where, you know, maybe it needs to be darker in there. I don't know, but they can't just be chilling and having conversations with the people there. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not gonna work. So yeah, people were confused at the shooting part of it. They were confused at the maze, and they were confused at the haunted house. They were confused about the whole thing. Let's just be honest. So hopefully we can fix those issues. But like I said, how do you fix the maze? I don't know. What do you do to fix that? You know, have more people to scare people? I mean, no. There's got to be something special about the maze that makes it different, you know, and there's really nothing. The only thing I can think of that would make it kind of unique and special is that we get rid of the maze and turn it into something else. That's the only way I know how to improve the maze, is just get rid of the maze and do something else there. What I thought would be very interesting is, I've seen these like little miniature electrical carts, and what I'm thinking is I don't. It does have to be kind of strong. It's kind of expensive, but kind of not. You can find these electrical carts for like $100, $200, um, and some of them can carry about 1,000 pounds, up to 1,000 pounds. I thought that was impressive. I'm thinking we turn that into a ride, like an actual ride. Like there's a cart, someone driving it, and it's pulling these like other little wagons, and people sit on the wagon, and they go for a ride through the maze, and it's more like a ride versus just the maze, and then we make it to where, if anything, it would be cool to utilize the shooting room and the maze for the whole ride. It's almost like a roller coaster ride, and people are shooting at the monsters from their wagon, or what we do is we take them for a ride on the wagon, and then they get off, go around, shoot, come back to the wagon, and then we continue on to the maze. And then, or I don't know, I gotta figure that one out. But essentially, it would be cool. That way, there's less confusion about where to go. We use that room, where it's the big room where we go shoot people, where we take the little ride, we take the ride and go around and drive around for a bit, shooting at monsters and stuff, and then you drive around to the maze and go through the maze, and then essentially, end somewhere. You park the car somewhere, you let people off, and then you drive back to the start. And then from there, they get on the trailer, they go inside the trailer, they go for a ride on that, and then they go to the haunted house, But I don't know. I think that would be freaking insane. I think that would be freaking cool if we had something like that. It would make it so much different from any other haunted house. And I've been looking at these little. They have these little, the foldable carts. Well, they actually sell those foldable carts where they sell them with a seat and a little handle, and it's electrical, and you can move those carts around. It's freaking awesome, and they're small. They're small, but they're pretty powerful. So my thing is, you use that, you put one wagon behind you, and you and maybe two wagons that are attached like a train almost, and you just drive them around. You put, if they're a heavy set person, maybe you can take one at a time, but if they're like very light people, like I said, I think it takes up to 1,000 pounds. So you could have a kid driving, he would love that. I know he would love driving that wagon. But having a kid is like, what, he's 80 pounds, 100 pounds at the most. So boom, you can fit, how many people can you drag? If it can push 1,000 pounds, we're talking about 5, 6 people, maybe 5, yeah, 6 people on the wagons, and you can drive them around while they shoot at the monsters. And it wouldn't be that expensive. We're talking about one electrical vehicle, little wagon, that costs $200, and then the other wagons you can just use. Just regular wagons. They're not that expensive, So I gotta figure that out. I think that would be fucking badass, in my opinion. And we can even do a chain where it's like, we have one electrical wagon, a couple of little other wagons that are not, that people sit in, and then chain that to another electrical wagon with 2 more seats. So it's like a freaking train. So we fucking move that train all across the area through the maze and all that, but we make it really fucking cool, And that would be different. That would be really different. There wouldn't be anything like that anywhere else. It would be very unique. But anyways, I'm going to bring all these ideas to Gene and see what we can do. I think it'd be freaking badass to do it like that. But who knows? I'm me, and my ideas may sound crazy, but they're definitely doable in my opinion, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. But Yeah. The other aspect was the parking. I think the guy complained about parking, which I thought was funny. There isn't. He made a good point. We had all the volunteers there. There were about like 15. There were about like 25 volunteers that showed up, and they filled up the parking lot. You know. So if volunteers come out, they have to go to the back and park back there. They can't fill up the parking lot because then customers are not going to have a space to park. Um, but yeah, I think I'm gonna thinking about these things. I have a better idea of what to do, what to bring, what kind of stuff to bring out. I think utilizing the projector in the maze would spruce it up a little bit. You know, I think that'd be pretty cool. Um, so I'm gonna figure that out. I'm gonna figure all that out. It can be as simple as a fire being projected, just a fire, you know, and it's like making fire noises and stuff. Like that'd be cool. That'd be scary in itself. Um, Trying to think. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I would love to have doors at the front of the haunted house. That's something I would really love to have in a fog machine. So when you open the door, it's like, you know what I'm saying. But right now we're getting ready. I'm doing a music video, so uh, thank God I don't have to work on the haunted house today because there's some other stuff I got to do, including prepping this music video. So today we're gonna go do location scouting for the music video. I have some good ideas of where to shoot, um, and some ideas I don't know. We have to look for some locations to see what would be cool to shoot. Um, but I have a couple of places in mind. There's bridges, there's these ditch areas, there's some alleyways, I know Tulsa very well. I've been filming stuff in Tulsa for a long time, over 2 decades, so I know all the little nooks and crannies of Tulsa, what's cinematic looking and what could be good. So we're getting ready to do that. I got my other camera charging, an actual camera. I haven't used it in, I want to say, like 2 years. It's just I haven't used it in 2 years. It's crazy. So I busted it out. It's charging really well. I just bought a SIM card for it, so we're going to be testing out some shots, and then here in a bit we're going to get a gimbal for my camera. And they sell different gimbals. They have a gimbal for cell phones, for lightweight things like that, and they have gimbals for like up to 9 pounds, So what I like about this gimbal is that you can modify it, you can add stuff to it, which makes it more professional and exciting to use as a team when you're doing the gimbal thing. So a lot you can do there. So once I have, for the future, I can always add these accessories to the gimbal to make it more professional, like I was saying. But yeah, but I also wanted to shoot some promo video of the haunted house to get people hyped up. But like I said, the way it is right now, I give it a C. It's pretty average right now, and not even. It's almost below average. And I think the guy who reviewed us made it clear how below average it was. So we're gonna have to raise the bar a bit on it for sure. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah. I think we're on the right path. Though. So, all right. I think I'm just gonna leave it at that. I did some good reflection today. Some good reflecting on the haunted house, the ways to improve it. I think I'm going to go to the Spirit Halloween store and check it out, see what they have. I wonder if they have police lights there of some sort. I think that'd be cool if they did. I just don't know where to go to buy that. I think, like a Spencer's shop. There's a Spencer's in the mall. Hopefully it's still open. I'm pretty sure they have a police light. I'm going to go buy Spencer's today and see what they have. They might have some stuff I can use for the haunted house. But anyways, you know, it'd be cool. I think using a fire hydrant would be cool because it shoots out smoke. So that would kind of freak people out. I think having that for the alien room would be cool. Just like as soon as they walk in, just you know, that's something different. I've never seen anybody do that. So maybe instead of just using fog, we can shoot out some smoke like that. I think that would work. I think, in my opinion, I think that would be scary too. Like you just get freaked out by a thing of smoke shooting out of nowhere. You know, I think that would work. I think that would scare people. Um, it's funny though having the alien abduction scene right in front of the cannibal scene because it's almost like oh, the aliens operate on you, and then when they throw you out, you get the cannibals eat you. They eat you alive. You know, it'd be funny though. I was just thinking this. There's a movie called Dogma, and there's a literally shit monster in that movie. Wouldn't that be funny if there was a shit monster? I think that would be fucking hilarious. No, but aside from that, that's probably not a real thing we'll do. But I'm seriously considering the whole electrical cart thing. I think that would be pretty badass. Yeah, yeah, I think that'd be pretty badass. Yeah, there's so much we need to do to improve it. Like I said, just because it's bigger doesn't make it better, you know. But if we add all the stuff that we had last year that we didn't incorporate this year, it's definitely going to raise the roof on it. I don't have a single doubt about that. Oh, that's what I was thinking. We need to have these graveyards where zombies come out of the ground, and that wouldn't be too hard to make. It would take some effort in building the boxes and then adding tarps and adding dirt and the headstones, but I think that would make it more special. I think having that in the maze, that's what I was thinking. I had that thought earlier. Would be cool. Would they like raise from the ground and they come after you? I think that would be fucking badass. So I need to look at that and see what we can do with that. Um, yeah, yeah. Plenty of good ideas there. Plenty of great brainstorming ideas there. So it's all about implementing it and actually building it and whatnot. So there's plenty of ways to figure this out. There's plenty of ways we can do this. It just takes more time, and I think we have the time this week to get it done. So I expect nothing less than everything I just said. Like that, all the stuff that I just talked about has to be implemented, or else it'll be a below average haunted house, and that's unacceptable to me. You know, we came in second place last year, and we had less to work with, but we made it work. We had so much less to work with, and we came in second place. And this time, we have a lot to work with, but we did a lot less. You know what I'm saying? And so, I thought that was interesting, because sometimes bigger isn't better. So definitely taking that to heart this week. That sometimes bigger is not better. So implementing all those creative ideas is gonna make everything better for sure. You gotta have fun. You gotta have fun. You gotta have scares. You gotta have moments. You gotta have these moments. You know. I thought it'd be cool too to implement a photographer at the end of it, because you walk out. The last room is a place where there's photos, so I think it'd be actually pretty cool if people came out and there was like a guy who took pictures, and like, you know, he was dressed as a monster or whatever. He's like, all right, say cheese, and like right before they say cheese, like all the monsters come out and like rah, you know, like all the lights, like, you know what I'm saying, like all the monsters come out to scare them. I think that'd be really cool. You know, and then they have a picture at the end of it, like one of those Polaroid ones, you know, a Polaroid picture. But make it look like an old school camera, like the box on the tripod, and you have the thing that people put over their head because it's like dark, and then they have a thing that goes, a little light that sparks, you know. I think that'd be great. I think that'd be a really nice touch to end there at the end of the night. Alright, I've been really pushing myself to do 1 hour live videos. I need to go back, you know, I got my most views during like the early mornings, like between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. For some reason I get the most views during that time. I couldn't tell you why. I think some people in international countries, for some reason, they get more access to my videos versus people here in the States, which makes no sense to me, but it is what it is, I guess. Yeah, so we're going to wrap up this video here in 5 minutes. I got to prep my camera. I mean, all I got to do is put in my little memory card in it, and it's just ready to go. It's charging right now. But yeah. One of those things, I'm just trying to get in the habit. I'm trying to get in the habit of doing these 1 hour sessions, you know, at the very least, you know. And it takes a little bit of energy and momentum and focus on this type of thing, doing this type of thing. But anyways, if you're checking this video out a bit later, I'm gonna invite you. Come out to the haunted house. Come out. It's gonna be Thursday, Friday, Saturday this coming week. It starts at 7 p.m. It's at the Airsoft Tulsa. Tickets are, I think, like 15 to 35. It depends what you do, because it's divided by 3 sections. You have the haunted house, you have the shoot the monsters, and then you have the maze. So, but I think at the end of the day, when you're spending $35, you know, you better get your money's worth. You know, and I feel like people are not getting their money's worth. So we need to raise the bar in how we do things. Please come out. You're gonna have a good time either way, and I most definitely will guarantee we're gonna make the changes that we need to change, and we are going to really surprise you and surprise you, but also, what's the word I'm looking for? Surpass some of your expectations of what a haunted house should be. I think we're going to do an excellent job of raising the bar. Okay, we got 2 more minutes. I'm going to wrap up here. I just want to say thanks for joining me. If you haven't done so, please give me a subscribe, a like. Helps the video channel. It helps the channel grow. It helps the video get seen and pushed out there. I know I'm not the most exciting person out there on the planet. I know I don't do a lot of politics. I mean, sometimes I do, but I try to stay away from that, to be honest. I'm just focusing on passions. That's why this channel is called LASSO'S Passions, right? My passions, which include different things like the haunted house, the film festival, the book I just published. What else? The filmmaking I do, the artwork that I do. Just a lot of different things that I'm really passionate about and getting myself into. Like, and the play that I did, I was in The Drunkard this year. That was pretty cool. I had my debut, The Drunkard. I suspect I will be back at some point at The Drunkard. Just, I don't think anytime soon. I got the haunted house this month, and then next month, pretty exciting. I'll be painting a couple of actors that are going to be in town. David Spade is going to be in town. I'm excited for that. He's going to be in town November 5th, and so I'm going to paint him and see if he'll sign it. And he's a big one. He's one of the big ones, one of the big actors, well-known actors out there. The last actor I got was, what's his name? I already forgot his name, but he played Lord of the Rings. I was able to get, no, he didn't play, he was in Lord of the Rings. He was Sam, Frodo's friend, you know, that guy. So I got his signature on his painting, so that was pretty cool. He's probably Probably out of all the actors that I got, he's probably the most well-known actors that I got. So it's pretty impressive. I also got Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, before he died, I was able to get his signature on the painting. Like literally, like a month before he died, I was able to get his signature, which was pretty nuts. Everyone is like amazed by the fact that I was able to get his signature, and then he passed away. Everyone's like, their mind is blown that I was able to accomplish that. And he was generous. He was a generous, gentle giant. You know, at this point, he was pretty old, but he was really nice. You know, and he loved the painting. So, you know, it was a tribute to him. I was able to get it signed. That's pretty amazing to me. Anyways, all right, I'm out, people. It's been an hour. I'm gonna try to do like a 1 a.m. to 2 a.m., 3 a.m. live stream. Just hang out. I got to get busy with the music video and do that. So, anyways, thanks for tuning in. I'm Lasso. This is Lasso's Passions on YouTube from Tulsa, Oklahoma, streaming live from my trailer. Alright, peace out, people. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see y'all later. Give me a like.